Hey guys, it's Matt, Jug 2 driver, Skill 4x4. I wanted to give you a bit of an update on the Yeti XL kit. Got a little issue that gave it a first run recently and came up with a broken part. It was a bearing in the front end. I've got a small pit in my backyard that's got a bit of a jump in it with a little bit of a kicker, and so it causes a lot of trucks to nose over. So it's kind of a good way to test durability sometimes. It's kind of how it deals with it. And what I ended up with was a bearing in the front end breaking, essentially. So one test run in and a broken bearing. I was hoping to have that fixed tonight and install it and everything put back together and kind of go through that with you. But I discovered an issue with the bearing in the kit versus what the manual says. The manual says that the bearing is a 8 by, hold on, let me get the manual. It says it is a 8 by 16 by 5. So it's a 8 millimeter center, 16 millimeter outer, and then 5 millimeters wide. So I reached out to Boca Bearings, ordered 10 of those, went to put it on tonight, doesn't fit. It's the right size. I've measured it with my calipers. It's an 8 by 16 by an 8 by 16 by 5. So when I took it apart, and I'll show you here in a little bit, I pulled the other bearing off the other side to double check it. Turns out it's a what is it? It's a 10. Hold on, well here. Turns out it is supposed to be. This is the good bearing, and it is a 16 outside diameter and then 10 millimeter interior diameter, not 8. So this should be a 16 by 10 by 5. That's the proper size. And if you go by what the manual says, you go by the kit number, it's wrong. Now, perhaps the sizing is wrong. Maybe if I'd ordered the bearing straight from Axial based on that number, it would have been the correct bearing. But I thought, you know what, if that bearing went bad, I would go and get some better bearings through Boca Bearing, ordered the size that the manual said, only to find out that that's the wrong size. So I'm going to show you real quick kind of what I'm talking about a little closer so you can get an idea. But just wanted you to be aware. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the entire front end pulled apart because it was this bearing here that had gone bad. It had completely torn apart. These are the remnants of that particular bearing right here. This is how it came out of the truck. It came out in 1, 2, 3 pieces. I don't even know where the balls are gone. But as you can see, I've had to dismantle the entire front diff. This is the correct. This is the size I ordered. And I'll show you the manual here. So, just to go back, this is the bearing that it calls for in the manual. It's the AXA 1225, bearing 8 by 16 by 5. So that's what this bearing from Boca Bearing is. That's 8 by 16 by 5. It even matches there. And when you go to this bearing, to the correct bearing that was on the other side, you place it in there, you can see that it's not the right size, that it's bigger than what's pictured. So you can see that that's an outside diameter of 16 with an inside diameter of 10. That's 10 right there. So, needless to say, I'm going to have to order new bearings. Like you see, I ordered a whole new set from Boca, and they are of no use to me for this particular instance. So, just be aware that if you do bust this front bearing by some chance, that you're going to want to make sure you get the correct size. Don't necessarily trust what the manual says, because as you can see, the manual says it's 8 by 16 by 5, and it should be a 10 by 16 by 5. So With that said, the truck's going to continue to sit here on the bench till I can get the proper bearing size, and hopefully I'll be able to get it back out there and this time get some driving footage, because up until this point it was a pretty good run. I can't say that the sway bars and the shocks really help control kind of the power that this thing has compared to the ready to run Yeti XL. So stay tuned. I'll keep you up to date, let you know what's going on with the build. Appreciate it.